Greetings, everybody. It is your favorite dark sorcerer here. And today I want to discuss something that's been going on. Okay? Where to begin? So, about a year ago, I joined the Cabal. Ed Morrow was having his little pom-pom meltdown like he normally does. I was friends with him at that time. I respected his decision to separate. After that point, he started slandering me, stalking me, harassing me on his channels, and I did nothing. I did nothing for about 6 to 8 months. About 6 to 8 months. So, roughly around last August, I did a video about him, my encounter with him, my dealings with him, and I revealed a lot of shit that he did not want the world to know. I haven't heard anything from him since, until recently. Until recently. So, apparently, according to his YouTube channel that somebody had sent me, about December, January, he apparently did a couple videos about me. Okay, I could care less. So, fast forward to about a month ago, if not 2 months ago. I'd say it's more like a month and a half area. Bill Duvendak, well-known author, well-known occultist, reaches out to me. And he informs me that Ed Morrow has come to him and as an F. Mason. Basically, claiming that I'm accusing them of some form of shit. Number one, Bill and I are friends on Facebook. I don't talk to him much. In fact, I barely talk to Bill. I've commented on a couple of his posts and I've shared a couple of his posts, especially the books. Love the books. There's a lot of information that he and his wife Asenath put out. Got nothing but mad respect for these two. So he comes to me and he informs me that they were approached underneath the, well, let's just call it their brand name site by Mr. Ed Morrow, aka Papa Smoke himself, cursing him. Let's see. I've only done one video, and that was about 8 months, 7 to 8 months. 7 to 8 months after he started attacking me. Just like he did to VK Jahannam, the head of the Cabal, and several others. So, like I said, about a month and a half ago, he started going after me through Bill and Asenath. So I'm going to read you what Bill sent me. Okay? Where is it here? Right there. So, according to this was a forwarded link Guys, have you seen this one? Michael calls you out. Has a web link. https:// www.youtube.com. Watch question mark V the equal sign YVH YVHHJPK PIZK and feature equal share. Wow. Who has been sending email? VK may be even be in on it and just pretending he knows nothing about it as we suspect will be blamed in the next two, whatever. Okay. Now, what's interesting is that Bill said, I said, basically, you might want to watch this. He has decided to bring in the Temple of Ascending Flame into his delusions. Thought I would let y'all know. I respect you and Azimuth. Your channel and books are awesome. He says, thanks for the heads up. I appreciate it. You are welcome. Just so you know, that wasn't delusional. He and I did have that conversation. I said, oh, good. That is good to know. He said, yeah. But the other thing he says in there about cursing or whatever in the name of the temple, we did not talk about at all. We did not talk about at all. This is Bill telling me this. Okay. I didn't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from. But yes, he confronted me and we talked about it, like you and I are doing here. And I said, Ed has been trash talking about me since January when I blocked him on Facebook. Back in June, I made one live video proving him a liar and posted my dealings with him along with the dealings of a couple others that Ed attacked for all to see. Have not cared what he does. A friend and admin I am associated with in a satanic group shared the video with me. I do find it amusing that with my new page on Facebook, Angelus, I added my personal email to it. Within 3 hours, Ed emailed me. And I even shared the emails. Okay. And let me see here. Yeah, at least in this one, it's actually correct. myhson35 at gmail.com. And he's putting all kinds of odd things, slanderous things, basically. So I said, indeed. He says, damn, dude, that sucks. And I said, indeed. Ed doesn't realize he can go to jail and have to pay a heavy fine if I and others file with the legal system. The European law, we have him on these slander, false accusations, harassment, stalking, and cyberbullying. 3 can land him in prison for a year with a fine up to $1,000. The others can add up to a history, especially when we have the dates and times on detailed posts he did. Like I said, let him talk. It doesn't bother me. Okay? Now, I haven't heard anything since that day, since Bill and I talked. And then this past week, I ended up having a conversation with J.S. Garrett, another well-known occultist. Like I said, like Bill and I, J.S. Garrett and I don't talk. We barely have any communication whatsoever. We barely talk. It's like once in a blue fucking moon. Okay? I've seen his post, I've commented on his post. I got a lot of respect for the guy. Some of the things he does is actually quite hilarious. Even I've got to admit that. But my point is, we barely talk. So JS came to me and he said, so last night Ed was sent this email, has sent this email to my wife and I. Now he is claiming publicly that it was you that somehow hacked his account and sent this. I know he is fucking lying because he wrote 3 hours later, after he sobered up from the same account, making these claims. Fucking dumbass. I am fully aware that you had nothing to do with this. Just thought you should know that he is publicly attempting to blame it on you. He is well, let's just say I'm not going to read that aspect. But he did post a message and a few other things. So basically, at that point, I unblocked Ed Morrow, his account, and I went underneath his page. Sure enough, the first post I came to, about 6 hours before, he attacked Barbie Garrett. This is JS's wife. And he says, so Barbie Garrett has tried to slander me based off of the idiocy of Michael Heisen spoofing her and JS in my name. Let me clear some things up. I did write, I did, keyword there, write the Barbie slang rhyme. Okay. I did email them as soon as I saw the receipt report and explained the utterly disgusting and vile threats that she received weren't me. I did tell them who it was and offered proof of him doing the same thing to me about my other half. Why did I write the rhyme? Because she brought Kurt's kids into beef with kids are off limits. Okay? This is Ed Morrow's own words. Professionals, especially famous ones, shouldn't bring anyone's kids into anything. Tells lies to discredit or publish half truths to make others look worse. First of all, Ed, what the fuck are you doing? This is what you've been doing. This is everything you've been doing since I joined the cabal. This is what you've been doing even before I joined the cabal. Hell, even before you and I even became friends on Facebook. This is the shit that you've been pulling. The Dominican Republic and Haitian voodoo communities have shunned your ass. Most of the left-hand path have shunned your ass and wants nothing to do with you. Many of them would love nothing more than have you 6 feet under. But you defeat yourself. You defeat yourself, Ed. Your own words are defeating you right now. Just like in the video that I did last year. And he goes on to saying, can't you see by now these aren't the actions of badass Magus? They're the actions of a scared, pathetic little fake. So let's look at Heisen's MO. Since I beefed with him, he tried and failed so many times to hex me and failed. Next, he tried messaging my email to intimidate me and failed. Next, he tried emailing me through using my website contact form and the names of other professionals. All kinds of disgusting fuckery to get me to fly off the handle at innocent people. Actually, Ed, you do that all on your own. Secondly, I don't have your email. And if I have a beef with you, I'm not going to email you. You see what I'm doing right here? This is how I deal with you. This is how I deal with my enemies, like a man, face to face. And finally, he spies on me using fake profiles and emails people who have beef with me using their contact forms on their emails so that they can go around trying to character assassinate me. Well, let's just talk about that for just a minute, Ed. My issues with you are my own. Why would I go out and bring in anybody else? First of all, if I have a beef with you, I'm going to deal with it like a man. That means I'm going to face you like a man, like I'm doing right now. Second of all, everybody who has heard and witnessed my posts on Facebook, in my video, right here on YouTube, calling your ass out, setting the record straight, they sent me their own dealings with you. I mean, look at, say, for an example, VK Johnham. He called your ass out. And yes, he even poked fun at your little top hat. I saw that video. That was actually kind of funny. I did not see that one coming. Second of all, Sorsha, what's her name there? Sorsha Renarius called your ass out live, right on YouTube, right on her YouTube channel. Not once, but twice. Especially when you claimed that you were responsible for Joshua Savage's death. Do you know how many people claim that? Do you? Quite a few. On top of that, everything that you were speaking on these emails were debunked, made fallacy by the head of the cabal, who came out and told you right to your face, right here on YouTube, his own video, live, that they had nothing to do with the cabal. They were outsiders trying to make it appear that it was the cabal. Okay? Hell, even I mentioned this, okay, in my video that I did to you right here on YouTube. So I spotted this. So let's go on his little tirade here. Okay. So I spotted this 24 hours ago as I check all my communication for just such fuckery. Because when somebody leaves you details on a contact form, you get a confirmation email. An email JS to explain the email from my address you see above, explaining to him it wasn't me and offering him proof of the true culprit. Instead of asking for proof or accepting it, or even replying through the fake little manhood, Splash decided to give it to his missus and use it for manipulation and lies. Wow. So they can take me out with magic. Are you that paranoid, Ed, that you can't get out of your own way long enough to realize none of us are attacking you? In fact, nobody's sending you emails. That's only you. Even Slade and Sorcery sent me emails that somebody was trying to claim that I was attacking BK. Turned out to be a lie. And you know how I know? The email. The email address is not mine. In fact, my email address is not set up that way. Anybody who has ever had an email from me, like, say, Percival Carr, or say, for an example, my better half, Say, for an example, oh, I don't know. How about my elders, my teachers? My email address is MYHSON. Okay, and I'll get to that in just a moment. So you claim that everybody's trying to take you out with magic or that they can take you out with magic. They're not clever enough to realize this is my MO, isn't my MO, and they're again lying to you all to garner sympathy because their attempts to discredit me are based on obvious bullshit. Yeah, your bullshit. I've always said kids were off limits for number for one, for two, and one from Britain read what I'm supposed to have said and tell me is that vernacular correct. Who the fuck taught you how to spell? Damn, man. Your spelling is ferocious. We don't even use the word bloke in the next contact. Also, final. I mean, number one, finally is not spelled Fianlly. I offer two emails from Hyson as proof so you can see what he says and how fucking similar it is. Again, blame shit on me. Wow. All I did was respect your decision to separate from having anything to do with me because I was joining the cabal. Even after the truth came out, you still blamed me. Wow, for your delusions and your idiocy. Hmm. So, anyways, to make things short, he did post a few things. And I'm going to I'm going to show you right here if I can blow it up just far enough here. Okay. I don't know if you could see it or not. There we go. Notice the word Angelus with an IUS. Okay. First of all, if you look up the word Angelus in that manner, you see three things that pop up. Number one is a Hollywood produced TV show known as Angel and Buffy the Vampire. David Hernandez, or was it Beneath? However the hell you pronounce that guy's last name. Played an interesting character, I must say. But you got that reference. The second reference is Latin, meaning dark angel. Okay. A female angel. Okay. A female dark angel. And the third characteristic of this name and this spelling means dragon in Celtic. Okay. You see, you would know this, Ed, if you actually did your fucking homework. Okay. Now, the email here is myson35 at gmail.com. And so, what did I just say my Gmail was? MY, not not HY, MYH. Okay? Get your fucking facts straight, dude. Seriously, you're just making yourself look like a fucking idiot. So, and supposedly this was June 16th, 2020 at 1:48 p.m. Well, that's not me because I was at work and we're not allowed to have phones on the fucking floor. Welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. How can I help you? So, and then this one here, how would you feel if some local dreadnoughts? What the fuck is a dreadnought? Seriously. If you look up the word dreadnought, it's some kind of drone. It's like a weapon. And it starts out with, hey, broken Bokor. Now, how have I replied to this? How have I replied to you? Either on Facebook or right here on YouTube. I refer to you as Ed Morrow. Fake Bokor. Fake Bokor. aka Papa Smoke. Again, apparently you're not paying attention to details. You're just blowing smoke out your ass like it any other day. So, anyways, moving on. So then I scrolled down a little bit further. And about what is it, two, maybe three posts down, I find one about me. And I'm going to read this to you right here. Okay. Okay, Michael Eisen, we all know you suck like a Dyson. If you're going to spoof my email to make me look like a really bad person, then try not faking English vernacular that's all so badly out of context. Even me, a dyslexic, can spot it. Obviously, you cannot spot it because you can't even see that it's not even me. When I've come out and said I have never emailed you, I don't even know your email. And this is going to come into play in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So he goes on to say, also try not sending the same general content you send to me. The i.e., assault and death threats and inappropriate things said about children. And finally, you dumb retarded piece of shit, beard fuck, stain. Finally, don't do it at midnight your time, because that's 6 o'clock my time. And number one in England is up at that time for the purpose of, and you can't go down any further because it's not allowed. Okay? So I find that funny as all hell. So again, I've heard nothing about this since JS Beard and I talked. So Saturday, I ended up posting in a group by Alfredo Martinez, Dark Sorcery. Nothing to do with Ed, nothing to do with anything to do with his fucktard whatsoever. Basically, it was something that I've been doing. Posting on how I've been delving into black magic, potions, remedies, things of powders and potions and all this stuff. Okay. I even went in and mentioned that EA Koetting was correct when he said in one of his videos that there's not much out there on this topic, but nothing about Ed. And then I get an email. Okay. And trust me, there's a lot more things on here that is by Ed himself. So this is what I said. Been doing a lot of studying within baneful sorcery. Been looking at the tools, the links, and yes, even the effigy throughout history. Have to say, throughout the secret orders and the many grimoire that have been written, I can say very few have written upon baneful sorcery and its methods. This E.A. Koetting was correct upon. However, the various potions, powders, and ceremonial rites within the runes and seals down to the very languages have opened up a complete study upon herbalism, alchemy, and powders, not just that of the religious and philosophical standpoint. I look back over the last three essays I wrote, and the fourth I am currently writing, and the amount of detail of historical, mythological, and folkloric traditions worldwide is magnificent. From the Shem priesthood of Giza to the Hashishin of Iran, down to the dark head of shamanism, and the very rites of the Knights of Templar. Books have been written upon these alone, but from a practitioner's view, this gnosis is priceless, but yet beneficial to those seeking out and applying it to their day to day lives and practices. Now, this is where somebody claiming to be Ed's apprentice of 2 years comes in. You claim he's right and that you have applied his work successfully, yet you've never taken a target out that we know of. Take Papa Smoke for an example. He still mocks you on a regular basis, despite all that you claim to have done to him. First of all, I have never claimed to have done anything to him. Not once. Not once. All I did when people come to me is I just give them the conversation. The little snapshot of the entire conversation. Here you go. Read it for yourself. This is my dealings with Ed Morrow. Guess what? His own words defeat him. His own actions show the world what he's truly about. Either way, he has defeated himself. So why should somebody like me, or say E.A. Koetting, B.K. Johannem, the head of the cabal, or any other black magician bother to place a curse on him? He's already done that himself when he defeated himself and decided to go down this road of lunacy. Okay? Do you have any target results to base such claims off? Are you just hot air? Who's name dropping for a potential head pat from someone famous? Not trying to be rude, but I see a lot of your work, and to me, it just looks like words with no substance. Yes, you're very well read and good at interpretation of the texts, but I find it hard to take you seriously without seeing results. Okay, so let me go to the next page. Aaron Sippy. I hope you know, said his name right. Sippy, or Sipe is how he spells his last name. Lucy 4. Many people have tried to take out Papa Smoke, aka Ed Morrow, but all have failed so far. I remember at one point he had 20 some odd people death cursing him at the same time. Nothing happened. For someone who many people claim has no power and say he is a complete tool, he is amazingly resilient. Or the curses that have been thrown at him just didn't have any power themselves at all. Okay? Now, personally, if I remember correctly, there was a lot of individuals who claimed that they were throwing curses at him. I wasn't one of them. Not at that time. Matter of fact, to this day, I haven't thrown a curse at him. There's no there wasn't need to. This moron keeps taking himself out of play. So I replied to Aaron and Lucy. First off, I will answer Lucy. I have never cursed Ed Morrow. Last year, when he spewed all his lies, it was his own words that defeated him. Truth. I even put forth proof that what he was saying was a lie, meaning a background check. And I even spoke that a friend of mine from Texas did a background check, put his own money in. He did his own money. Okay? I had no fucking clue that he had done this. And guess what? Negative. Was saying was a lie. Why curse someone who is not worthy of your time when words do just the same amount of power? He defeated himself on all fronts. His partner left him and outed him as a conman. Truth. It's right on YouTube. Go ahead and look it up. I can't remember who actually put that one out there and shared it. I think, if I remember correctly, somebody shared that to Facebook at one time, but it was on YouTube originally. So Every time an individual came out to me about him, all I did was what S. Connolly revealed to me once and put forth Ed's own words. Okay? Technically, the term was not words, but the videos. Because at the time she and I were discussing this, I was curious about how she would handle something where, how do you do this without having to continue regurgitating the same stuff, repeating yourself over and over again. It kind of gets tiring and taxing after a while. And she said, that's why there's a link. Share the video. That's all you got to do. Just share the video. Why repeat yourself a dozen times? Just share the video. So that's what I did. Instead of the video, it was the conversations with Ed Morrow. Okay. The replies referred to Ed as a moron. Truth. It left people completely speechless. He's saying all this crap and propaganda and slander against people, but yet here's his own words defeating him. Ed is not worthy of a curse from me, nor will I ever speak upon this pathetic ass again. Secondly, Aaron Sippy. It is true, many claim to have cursed him, so you're not wrong there. I remember one individual once said he must know some offensive magic, meaning defensive magics. Okay? In magic, there's offensive and there's defensive magics. There are even traps that can be put into play. Okay? So he wasn't wrong about that. There was actually a few people that actually spoke this stuff. LOL, I smirked at that one, which was true. I did smirk at that one. The only time I have noticed Ed in work is that he is more into drama and popularity down to numbers than actual practice and study of the arts. He is all talk, again, not worth my time. Many whom he has attacked acted as parent, as said no to him. His actions are like a child to a parent. Step up or step down, because there is no in between. Always back up what you preach or be made the fool. I backed up my side with proof last year. I showed Ed proof of my dealing with Ed Morrow. I showed proof of my dealings with Ed Morrow. Yet all those who spoke ill of me too apologized to me for believing his false propaganda. Thirdly, I can speak for myself, which is true. I speak for myself. I don't need somebody stepping in and going, "Hey, this is what's what." Okay? That's like somebody putting words in your mouth for you. It just don't end well, you know. So Lucifer tags me in a next comment. You're such a toxic liar, little liar. I've seen emails from you directly where you have bragged and boosted about him, trying to intimidate him with pictures of your supposed dark works in a cemetery with Saint Morte. Okay, first of all, I didn't start working with Santa Morte, on a full-time basis until recently. Okay, anybody who follows my work on YouTube and Facebook would know this. Obviously, Lucy doesn't. Obviously, Ed doesn't. Okay, and since I recently unblocked him on Facebook, then why hasn't he looked at my profile? Scroll down. He obviously has a photo of me that I took for about 2-3 years ago, back before I joined the cabal. It was actually an outfit my better half put me in. Although to be fair, I kind of do look good in that sports jacket, though. That jacket actually belonged to a man that's been dead for about a decade now. Died at 74 years old. Cancer. So, anyways, he made a post of your threat mocking you. Some when you sent him a similar threat featuring Kali Ma. Well, let's see. Kali Ma, if I remember correctly, is a mantra. It is Hindu. It was a mantra used when summoning Kali, the goddess of destruction. And if I remember correctly, even E.A. Koetting spoke on this in one of the books that he wrote that's in the complete, if I remember correctly, it is the complete works that he did about a year or two ago. So, using Kali Ma is not a threat. Kali Ma is a mantra. Anybody who knows anything about occultism knows about mantras. They know about words of power. So obviously, Lucy rather, you know nothing. Ed obviously knows nothing. Again, not worth my time. I say you're just as well read poser who is desperate to be famous and popular, and again, as one of the public who often ends up subjected to your drive. All right, first of all, anybody who follows my work knows that I tell you it's not about popularity. It is not about getting rich quick. It is not about being having numbers. I've always said this. People on social media these days seem to want to be popular. They want to have huge amount of people following them. They want to have the most success. Anybody who's been in the occult knows it's not about that. It's not about numbers. It's not about popularity. You see, Lucy, if you're going to be an apprentice of someone, you might actually want to do your homework. Okay? I demand results. Except for she spelled results wrong. Results only has one E, not two. Or maybe only speak on what you can prove, not what you can fantasize about. Seems all you're capable of is harassing people like you did with Ed, Talia, and many others. No one takes you seriously who knows anything, and every time you post on many people's role, their eyes, let me repeat that, who knows anything, and every time you post, so many people roll their eyes, you can hear it echo worldwide. Okay, first of all, I don't know where you've been, but Talia, I should say, and I have made peace. We made peace a while ago. So you're so fucking behind in the fucking times. You know, she admitted to her wrongdoings. She did it like a woman. That is something I respect. That is something that Ed is unfamiliar with. Okay? So then she goes in and says, "Okay, so if my mentor was outed as a con man, why does he still post results to this day? Still waiting to see yours. Your bull is so transparent, it's almost funny." You know what you're not even worth arguing with. Wow. So I'm not worth arguing with. Last time I knew I was just posting facts. Second of all, who's arguing? You attacked me. Okay. So I said, Lucifer, do you believe everything you're told and see upon computers? How many times does it take for people to state that fake emails have been passed through? Sorsha, run, okay, did a video on this 1 year ago. Marcus did a video stating the same fact. Even VK in Slate and Sorcery. I've already stated this fact. Even I have received such emails from people claiming to be of the cabal with vile threats. Do you see me attacking people out of spite over a fucking email? Okay? No. No, you don't, because I do my homework and actually inquire about things. Ed, on the other hand, is not that smart. He believes in acts, then wonders why all the bridges have been burned, why everybody has turned against him, and his own world has been turned upside down over drama. The occult community is full of it. Things I want nothing to be a part of. I have said this time and time again. The fact you have your head up his canal believing false dogma is on you and him. I have proven last year with one video on YouTube, and if I remember correctly, 2 or 3 posts on my own personal conversations with Ed, along with others that had dealings with him. If you like, I can forward them to you. Okay? You will see in no way have I spoken ill will upon him or belittled him in any way. I have never cursed him or attacked him. I want nothing to do with him, which is why I unfriended him. He chose his own path, which has constantly came back to haunt him. The only curse he has is his own self. There's a saying in the occult community: the occult attracts the mentally ill. This is truth. In 32 years, I have come across 4 individuals who need professional help. Ed is one of them. He has been shunned by most of the communities of the occult in voodoo in Haitian voodoo. My advice to you: do your own homework and get away from the drama. Maybe then you'll grow within the spirit. I did not begin working with Santa Morte until January 2021. And as for this Kalima, I have never heard of it. I actually had to look that up, by the way, which I did after reading that book by E.A. Quay. So, anyways, and then I was also talked by Simon, okay, Simon O'Reilly. And it was interesting because of the fact he even came to me over this. And he said, I see our friend is causing trouble in the occult community again. I said, which one? And he said, Top Hat. Top Hat. Gotta love that guy's humor. He must have a death wish. I said, Ed Morrow. Yeah, known about his return for a while, meaning as far back as Bill Duvendak when he contacted me and we were talking about it. He must have a death wish considering the shit he's been posting about other occult practitioners. This is actually Simon that wrote that, by the way. And I said, true. And I posted the same post that I just read a little bit ago that he posted on his timeline about me. I said, I am aware of what he is saying. Plus, so is JS. He's also, and Simon says he's also been bragging, uh, begging the Garretts. I said, I am aware. not concerned. And he says he's fucked up his last relationship with this type of shit. You would think with his new child he'd have better things to do. And I said, he has no new material. Everything he has said before has been proven a lie, been debunked even. So he has nothing to work with except fallacies. Indeed, figured he became an adult, but it appears he is testing the waters. Like I said, I am not concerned. Simon says, I wonder if JS will gift wrap something and send it to him. I said, I think many have. He says, he must be good at protection magic then. I said, probably the only type he knows. And then Lucy and I went on for a good while. And I even posted in Dark Sorcery underneath this post that I posted in there on my own dealings with Ed Morrow. Okay. And I even showed this to a friend of mine who also had dealings with Ed Morrow, Clint Beckham, okay, or Betcham. Not sure if I pronounced that right. And he says, I am going to address a situation that has arisen in the community once again and is starting to lose containment because there are a number of people who are taking the side of this drama seeker who has made a return to slandering practitioners just so he can seek the attention he never got from his own parents. But this message is not for him. It's for those of you who are on my friends list who are going out of their way by coming down on a number of close core friends and administrators in my groups, not by checking out their facts first and being used as a puppet for this individual. There is always something to say to one that won't mind their own business. Get all your facts straight and stop creating extra drama between all of us because you decided to jump into the middle of a conflict that's been going on for a few years. We have to grow out of this bullshit and grow up because life is short enough as it is. Those of you on my friends list that continue to assault your assault on my administrators and those closest to me will find me as a formidable opponent, and I will bring this drama and bullshit to a quick conclusion. That was done by Clint. Okay. Now I posted all of this stuff right on my main Facebook profile. Okay. And this is where it got interesting. This is literally where it got interesting. Is this is the post that I shared with Clint to begin with, is I brought all this stuff to his attention. Now, this Vidit guy says, to be honest, Lucifer is another fake account of Ed. I got a request from that account, saw the post, and they were so identical to his, portraying people as scams, trying to tell that magic has rules and you shouldn't do this and that. Plus, Lucy knew more than she is supposed to know as a student, especially of 2 years. It was as if Ed was talking in a third person, attacked me as well, had a fight with Ed some 3 to 4 years back. Okay? I don't know. Had it on his mind. And so I ended up sending this to Clint. So Clint got underneath. I'm not sure where he went under. I didn't ask. But he came back and he sent this to me. Okay. Lucifer feeling amused. I am not Papa Smoke, nor is he me. He's just my teacher, not the same entity. Entity? So now Clint is, so now Papa Smoke, aka Ed Morrow, is a spirit? He's a deity? Was he Ellie Mercury? Just saying. And yes, I did pay attention to that little fiasco. So there was a lot of things said, and Clint said, "Of course he's you, or else you wouldn't be saying that to convince others. So let me start. How have you been doing these days, Ed? You old drama seeker." And now, according to Clint, this little post was taken down quite quickly. Quite quickly. Boom, like that. He comments once on Lucy Furr's profile. I don't, like I said, I don't know if this was her profile or what. It was in black. Okay, and I'm going to show it to you right here. Okay, wrong side, and that's Clint right there. That was all that did, and I'm guessing this was also underneath Lucy's main profile because of the fact that it's also here as well. I am not Papa Smoke, nor is he me. He's just my teacher and not the same entity. There's one little heart. So, and she even posted the conversation, or at least a small amount of it, the first few pages. Okay. If I remember correctly, this was about 4 pages of snapshot. Just four snapshots. I actually posted the entire conversation. Okay, the entire conversation with her. So she didn't even post half. She only posted half truths of her dealings. So, anyways, like I said, at this point, while Clint and I were talking, I was talking with I was sending all this stuff to my elders and kind of informing them this is what's going on. Keeping them informed that Ed has returned and started slandering me again because he may turn around and start on them next. So I got underneath Ed's profile one more time, and surprise, surprise, guess who's trying to make money? Let me see if I can't get this thing to uh, pop up there. There we go. Okay. Trying to make money. Okay. And he says, boom, firework, firework, firework. This is why you want a mojo mirror protection from Papa Smoke. 20 some odd people trying to death curse me, and I'm still standing and thriving. Quite simply put, my work makes even the most egotistical edgelord wannabe look and feel weak, pathetic, and disempowered. Now, I actually okay, right there. Mojo mirror protection because prevention is a better solution than the cure. $100, approximately 140 USD. And then he goes into Ayabobo Loa, Kuwa Gadi. Okay. And he posts his latest stuff. Aaron Sippy. Okay. Lucy Fur. What did I read to you earlier from the Dark Sorcery channel? The second comment underneath my post. The second one. Aaron Sippy. Not mine, not anybody else's, but the comment under that he did to her. With 2 photos of a ritual. And I'm going to see if I can't blow this up here so you can see this ritual. Okay? There's the ritual. Okay? Ironic, right? These are photos that he's done over the last 2 years, by the way. Okay? So, and this, let me see if I can't, let me see if I can't get that. There you go. Notice? Aaron Sippy. That's funny. I have to say that is quite humorous. Okay? So, like I said, This is Ed seeking money. But instead of coming out like a man and saying, "Hey, I need some of you to step up and purchase some of my items. I'm kind of in dire need because I have a kid now and I've got to provide for my family." Guess what? He's out there slandering J.S. Garrett, his wife, myself, and now he's got his supposedly his apprentice of 2 years attacking me personally. Huh. It's ironic how the truth always comes out, don't you think? Every fucking time Ed defeats himself, he shows his true colors at the very end. You see him attacking people, you see other people now getting involved, and what happens? He's promoting a new ritual. And yet, people like S.J. Garrett, his wife, myself, Marcus, Slayton, VK, E.A. Quetting are the evil ones. We're the fake ones because we're actually succeeding in life. We're not out there saying, "Hey, we're in dire need of money." No. Anybody who's followed my personal work, you can go underneath the last year all the way to last August, and you'll notice that I have not said one fucking thing about Ed Morrow since that video. But yet, the way I look at it is Ed wants a war. I'll give him a war. Let's see what he does now that somebody's actually playing his game. Let's see what he does now. You want to sit here and play this kind of game. What are you going to do when somebody actually starts doing the same thing back to you? How are you going to reply to that? So why don't you get on my Facebook profile? I've been posting since last night, early this morning even. And I also posted twice when I got home from work this evening area. All slandering you, Ed, and anyone who follows you. Because if you think about it, Ed, from a European law, just what I have on you alone, you can go to prison for a year. And you'd have to pay a restitution of up to $2,000. That's just European law. But now, I'm no longer sitting back and taking your bullshit. You want the war, Ed. You got it. But don't go crying to anyone else because you're getting exactly what you want. I put up with a year and 9 months. What is it now? 9 months? So, Sunday, August 1st. Yeah, so about 9 months, about 8, 9 months. So you got a year and about 8, 9 months that you've been slandering me, Ed. I've done nothing to you except for respected your wish to go your own way. And I proved that through your own works last year. So now I'm not playing by the same rules. You wanted the demon. You wanted the sorcerer. Not everything's about magic. You want psychological warfare? You want to be cursed, Ed? Guess what? It's coming. I gave you 15 hours. Oh, and by the way, Ed, to anyone who follows you and wants to be friends with you, there's a little legal term that I want you to remember. Guilty by association, which means anyone who follows you, promotes your brand as a that you're going to be charged with, by the way, is guilty by association, which means nobody's going to want to deal with them either. They're going to be outcasts. Guilty by association. This is the same thing of being present during a murder. You're guilty by association because you were there. And people can prove that you're there. You take Lucy Fur for an example. Prime character right there. When the shit hits the fan, Ed, it won't just be you who goes down through the legal system. It's also going to be her. Guilty by association. And if this is true, and Lucifer is actually you, now you got fraud involved. You got perjury. This is, according to, since you live in England, this is basically the European version of fraud. Underneath your tenements, fraudulent aspects of practicing. You might want to look into the Parliament of England through the witchcraft trials and how that played into effect. Why they're there through England, through Great Britain's laws. Because something tells me you're going to need it. And so is this Lucifer, if it is indeed either a separate person or you pretending to be someone else. Either way, doesn't look good for either one of you. Have a good night. And by the way, I noticed that a lot of people have been posting here. So let's just read down through here. Africa Root Witch, welcome. Marry me. Stephen K, you're so right, bro. Men like gods. Darn, I'm late. It seems to always be the case with you. But it's all good. It's all good. Stephen K, E period, M period is a dead man walking. Let's see. Apprentice Necromancer Hades Blackthorn. Welcome, brother. Welcome to the channel once again. And he says, hello, I'm home from work. Feels so good. It's a good foot pain, LOL. Oh, trust me, I get that one, Hades. My knee's actually bugging me. Concrete floors. Raises hell with my knees. Former knee injuries. Let's see. Men like gods. The worst curse of all would be to have an annoying English accent. Ironically, that's true. Well, one thing I've noticed is women, they love a good accent. I don't know why. It's just something. And a lot of them tend to go towards the English. I don't get it. So, anyways, Hades says he must be watching too. Much in Indiana Jones, LOL. True. Well, hopefully there's no snakes there because Ed will go running, screaming like a little girl. And then he says, sounds like she got the same re syndrome spelling with 2E. Been seeing people doing that re thing a lot over the years. That's true too. They literally spending all of this time messing with you when they could be bettering and working on themselves proves they are not serious occultists. They just want wasting their life. Now that is something that is actually true. That is well said, brother Hades. Now, I believe it was Bokor Leonard Emera who said it best. And I'm going to use my own terms, my own words on this. Leonard Emera said, and I quote, while you're trying to get rich, you're trying to make yourself appear better through lies, deceit. We're over here actually practicing, mastering the arts. While you're trying to get the numbers, the popularity. We're mastering the occult. We're mastering all this. And you're basically left in the background because that's all you are. You're stagnating. And like I said, that's my own words, repeating Bokor Leonard Imera's words. Okay. Let's see. The spirit of the her herpad derp, ha ha ha, that apparently knows how to use Facebook. LOL. Yeah. Well, you consider every time something goes on with my laptop, I try to figure it out, but then I get frustrated and I punch the screen. My better half constantly tells me I need to get with the times. It's like, screw that. I want to go back to the 15th century. People don't actually talk to people anymore. It's all LOL and abbreviations and keyboard wannabes. So then he goes on to say, funny how his claims keep changing. Yeah, and it's funny because of the fact my last post that I did on Facebook, Hades, Lord Hades, was I actually compared Ed Morrow to the fake Christian John Ramirez, okay, who claims to be an ex-Satanist, okay, but yet he can't go into any detail whatsoever. And it's funny because of the fact that in The Dangers of Santeria and the Occult, he clearly came out and said he started with Santeria before going into Pedo Mayambi. And then he ended up becoming a Christian. Everything from the time he got into it, to the amount of time he spent into it, to the time he became a Christian, there's two different ages. There's a lot of different age gaps between 7 and 13 when he got into occultism, and then the amount of years he practiced kept changing, and then the amount of time that he's been a Christian keeps changing. So that was kind of interesting to see all these dualities and hypocrisies and all that stuff. I mean, Ed is the same exact way, which is why I compared him to it. I mean, what's even more funny is even John Ramirez, he married a woman that was already in the church. She was Christian, okay? But yet, and every time he promotes that book, he gets the waterworks coming and saying nobody ever came to the wedding on Halloween because it was so vile. Demons were there. It's like, what the fuck? So it's kind of funny. So now we have two marriages that he supposedly had to the same woman. So, but yet it's funny to see how many people have called Ed out, literally their own dealings with him, proven and backed up their conversations with him, and yet everybody's conversation is completely different from Ed's. Hmm. Yeah. So I can see him going on a sale next. Buy one piece of BS, get one free. I believe that's already taken place between him and his apprentice, so-called apprentice that may or may not be himself. So, something he got from the dollar store. Bedazzled it. LOL. That's actually funny. So, men like gods. No offense, but I have always found litigation distasteful. Yeah, I get that. Men like gods. I do. I spent years just staying out of politics until one day I started getting into politics when I became a minister, and I started learning how to become a minister. And I found out that there's a lot that goes along with politics, but there's a lot that deals with the legal system. So it literally plays a huge part in it. So unfortunately, it tends to go along with it. Sad but true. And then so sounds like me beating up my laptop when it's freezing. Yeah, I'm not that kind of. I'm not smart when it comes to technology. I I had that when I set up my Facebook account. My nephew actually set that up for me. I had a friend of mine who I'm no longer friends with. We kind of fell apart and drifted apart, and he actually set up my YouTube channel for me. So I mean, mm, over the years, I've kind of figured out a little bit of stuff. Been shown some other stuff, but that's as far as it goes. Ed thinking that I'm some kind of hacker and spammer of emails. When I heard that, I literally busted out laughing. I showed it to a few friends of mine, and even they laughed because I'm the guy that has to go to them for advice on computers. I mean, hell, I even have to go have my better half help me with the computer. So apparently, Ed, you got your facts wrong yet again. So, anyways, let's see. I will never understand why people would waste so much time being a fraud when they can literally do the work, help themselves, and grow in power and knowledge and not burn all their bridges. You see, Apprentice Necromancer Hades Blackthorn, this is where you and I agree. This is where we agree. I used to, and I'm going to say this straight. Back before I got into the cabal and I applied to the cabal and became, a necromancer, I would have just lashed out. I would have done my homework and I would have exposed these individuals as frauds. I would have just blackballed them into, well, oblivion. But when I became this necromancer, I evolved. And like I said, I only did one video talking about Ed last year. Just one video exposing what he was saying as a lie. He spent a good 6 to 8 months hounding me, trying to defame me. I just did the work and posted the work that I was doing. Again, basically what Bokor Leonard Emera stated. And like I said, I haven't heard anything about Ed since that time. At least until Bill Duvendek came to me about a month and a half to 2 months ago. And then Simon, and then no, it was Bill Duvendek, then J.S. Garrett, and then Simon in that order. And J.S. Garrett and Simon were actually within about a day of each other. So that was kind of interesting to see. So a lot of people do this stuff. And one thing I've noticed about the occult community is you're seeing more and more people getting into drama. They're more situated with it because that's what they want to be in. But you still have those few old school practitioners, those who don't want to be mixed up in drama. You got those who want to sit there and go, you know what, I'm just going to step back. Sorcerer was one of these types that literally said, I want nothing to do with it. But since you brought my name in, guess what? This was my dealings with you. Basically, came back to bite Ed Morrow in the ass once again. So, I mean, you look at the facts that so many people have butted heads with Ed Morrow. Okay? All of them have proven him a liar, a fraud. I had a brother, my brother from down south actually came to me because I studied voodoo in the past. And he came to me and he asked about this. Showed me a client of his, okay? Had a shoebox that Ed Morrow sent her. Ed Morrow sent a fucking shoebox. They were supposed to deal with some form of curse. A curse. In a shoebox. Well, I inquired from a few practitioners of voodoo before I replied to my brother. And each one of these people said, well, if they're going to do a curse, they would build a coffin. They would either go out and buy a coffin or they would build one. I mean, even through my own studies and practices into Haitian Voodoo, the coffin is a prime symbol of Dambella, Baroness Dambella, and Baron Semedi. The coffin is where you place the effigy, not in a fucking shoebox, tied with purple ribbon. Purple fucking ribbon. This is like a child trying to perform some form of ritual that they have no understanding about and acting professional. Oh, my shit works. Boom, shakalaka. And you see what I did there? Ed's own post on his own page. Boom. So, yeah, exactly. Through the cabal, I realized that in working with the blighted, it really a lot of things came into focus for me. I stepped back. I wasn't doing as many videos as I used to do. I wasn't posting on Facebook as much as I used to. My time was more study and practice. Kind of like what you've been doing, brother. Finding the truths, the literal evidence that backs it up throughout the history and the various years of suppression and oppression. How voodoo has literally adapted to survive. Even through my necromantic studies, I had no idea it went into medical practices going back 300 years. I had no idea that it went all the way back into ancient Greek, Egyptian, the Shem priesthood, religious perceptions of, say, for an example, the Knights of Templar, that of the Hashishin, okay, the Dark Hag, dark shamanism. Okay, you get into the cults of Anubis, Artemis, Isis, Hecate. You get into those of Slavic and Baltic traditions, and you see the truth, the evidence. It's mind blowing. So to see somebody doing what Ed Morrow's been doing, nah, you're just doing showbiz, bub. That's all you're doing. You're not real, you're fake. And now you're dragging in somebody else that claims not to be you. But yet you got called out, and as soon as you got called out, that post went down faster than you could say spam on a hot tub. Funny as all hell. So yeah, and to be fair, brother, I am glad I was able to help you on some things. I may not know everything. I by far I don't know everything. I never claimed to know everything. Well, he definitely had some kind of fungus, that was for sure. I saw that video. A friend of mine actually showed it to me. I watched that maybe 3 or 4 times trying to figure out what the hell that was. I don't know what he stepped in. And that's what happens when you don't take care of yourself. And anybody who lays in bed too long will get bed sores. I mean, that's most likely what he did. He wore his shoes too much. They're probably too tight for his feet. So I'm going to read to you what my brother Hades just said. And he says, but I grew over the years, the cabal and you has helped me in so many ways. Things I'm learning now and accomplishing. It's like everything I learned before seems like nothing or just watered down stuff. That is very true. Hell, when I started studying the spirits and the entities within the system, it was like, God damn, going all the way back into ancient folklore. It's like old wives' tale, like Baba Yaga, and it's like holy crap. So I get it on that one, brother. I do. And then he says, "What was it on his foot? Fungus curse or something?" LOL. It's almost like, hey, I found some foot fungus. It is my gift to you. I even put a fancy purple ribbon on it. LOL. Yeah. So, yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. Greatest advice you ever gave me. Don't take things at face value and always back up your words with references and citations. That's actually true. That was told to me when I first started the Order of the Black Thorn. It was back in 2013, I think it was. Yeah, it was 2013, and it was the 8th month. So 8/13/13. It was the same day I was ordained as a minister. So, and I actually reached out to a number of different organizations, and only one organization got back to me. It was the Brotherhood out of New York, Brotherhood of Satan out of New York, and they said, always back up what you preach and always make yourself available to the public. So that's what I've done all these years since then. Let's see. Men like gods. A serious question, Michael. Do you think it is ethical to perform exorcisms on somebody who has been clinically diagnosed as schizophrenic and regularly is in and out of mental wards? Well, to be fair, there's been a lot of debate over this. This is something that has been debated in the occult community for a very, very long time. My advice would be no. If we look at the Catholic perception of witchcraft, we see it as witchcraft, necromancy, divination, and possession in that order. The possession has 4 states. E.A. Koetting actually stated that there's 5, and he is right about that because the 5th one is actually voluntary possession. This is where you voluntarily allow a spirit into you through evocation. Whereas the first 4 is the infection, the manifestation, the takeover, the obsession, and then the takeover. So the spiritualism has a lot of commonalities with medical perception of mental illness. When we look at this, even from a diagnosis of schizophrenia, this is things similar to bipolar. This is where the brain chemistry is different from a normal individual. Hallucinations, false illusions. Think Ed Morrow, if you wish, on this one. Prime example, he believes he's so paranoid that he believes everybody's cursing his ass. Prime example right here. This could be a form of schizophrenic. He's schizophrenic break because this happens every so often. You look at his history. Why is there gaps where he's not cursing anybody, where he's not blaspheming everybody and defaming everybody? And then all of a sudden, bam! It's like he gets so stressed that it's like a psychological break. Same exact thing. But with schizophrenia, it is something that can't be helped. There's a difference between spiritualism or spiritual performances and that of a mental disorder. If you take a prime example, would be this. You take cutting for an example. This is a technique that people use to control their own pain. It's the one thing in their entire world that they can control. Okay. Now you take occultism like necromancy and demonology, blood sorcery, even. This is an actual practice of where you would offer your blood as a sacrifice and an offering. Okay, the pain of you opening a wound either on your hand or on your arm, a specific location that is non life threatening for a controlled ritual, right? Okay, you look at Sorceress Cagliostro, for an example. She has 20 pages of where a safe location would be and how to do it within the Blood Sorcery Bible, Volume 1. Okay, prime example there. So, if we take this analogy, we see where in occultism we grant blood, we give our blood freely to that spirit, giving thanks as an offering. But yet, to the outside world, this is a form of cutting. It becomes a mental illness. You can't help yourself because you have to be cut. You see what I mean? The same thing is done with schizophrenia and spiritualism. They're two different things, but they mimic each other. Now, I'm by far not an expert on this type of diagnosis. Okay. What I do know of it is the symptoms. I've hung around people that actually have MPD, schizophrenia, and bipolar syndrome. These are things that can't be helped, but they can be controlled through medication. If they've been diagnosed with schizophrenia, then there's a mental illness going on there. However, if what you said is true, say for an example, being in and out of mental wards, you could have you could contact the archdiocese and say, hey, I got a possible possession here. Can you come and do an exorcism, or at least figure out if you need one? If they find tangible evidence, 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, fuck you. No, we don't practice that anymore. But yet here in America, they do. I can name off two locations and an actual couple of actual practicing exorcist priests from the Catholic Archdiocese. Okay. So right off between the Northeast and the Southwest. So basically, they would have to do a serious investigation. They would talk to your friends, your family, people that, the doctors and all this other stuff, just to gain a profile of your personality before this type of stuff happened. What was that event that caused it? And then they would determine, is there sufficient proof that this individual needs an exorcism? Okay. In occultism, it's really not that hard. It's more of the fact that you just perform the exorcism. But when it comes to mental illness, I would recommend talking to an actual professional on that one, seeing what they would suggest. But that's my personal opinion on that one. But if somebody was diagnosed with schizophrenic behavior, then there's some crack in their brain that is not working correctly. That's basically my understanding of what that is. I would not personally perform an exorcism on somebody with schizophrenia, but that's just me. So Hades goes on to say that's how I weaken the lupus that has been affecting me, and doctors are like, what the heck going on? LOL. Even lost 60 pounds. Awesome job, brother. Gotta buy new clothes. They're all falling off me. Yeah, that actually is true. I've had to go out and since I started doing the Black Fast about 2 years ago. It was just it was a challenge to me to came out of the blue, and I didn't have any time to prepare for it, and I started doing the Black Fast. And the Black Fast is actually an 11th century Catholic fasting technique, kind of like the Angelus prayer, you know, Angelus, the same spelling as my magical name. So just to let you all know. So yeah, I lost all kinds of weight on that one. And this past June, this last June, I did the same thing. At least I was prepared this time. I had proper preparing for it. Most people don't. When they get into fastings and workouts, they don't really take into consideration they're going to need to gradually size down. So first of all, congratulations on the weight loss, the control of your lupus. That's awesome, brother. Let's see. Men Like Gods. This particular woman was diagnosed schizo, effect bipolar at 21. She's 32 now. And in the past here has been actively channeling both her recently dead grandmothers, who were chatty when we spoke. Okay, call me intrigued. Hmm. Why don't you hit me up on Messenger, Men Like Gods? Just let me know it's you. So you can go in full detail. I would like to hear this more in depth. Even do a few cardomancy reads, and see if we can't figure out what's going on here. Okay. I will tell you this, Hades. Do your homework on that and talk to our elder. Okay. There's a lot that you can do to help maintain and nourish your body throughout the month, but also there are other things that are not spoken of within that right. Okay. So I would recommend speaking to our elder on that. Well, one thing I know about prayers is that I had an apostolic woman that I knew. She was, I want to say she was in her 60s at the time, 70s maybe. She was diagnosed with cancer. She ended up praying repeatedly, day in and day out, between the time she was diagnosed and the time she was given ample amount of time to live. When she got her test results back, it was negative. That's the power of prayer. So, if you put your faith in the spiritual realm, brother, there is no telling what you can accomplish. Really? How'd you get banned on both of those? I mean, Twitter I can see, but hell, I couldn't even figure out Twitter. I actually had an account for maybe 5 minutes before I deleted the entire app. I could not figure that damn thing out for the life of me. But Facebook, it's there's a lot that with all the things changing and everything, you're dealing with a computer, number one. Number two, you can bump it up to a the high council, so to speak, and then you got the owner sitting there trying to keep business away from you know all that stuff. So I mean, there's a lot that you're dealing with just on that alone, not just the community standards. Well, did you back it up with actual facts, sources? To be fair, that's really not hard to do, especially if you have the history and the mythology of everything. Then I would have just put it forth as a historical lesson, teaching. Facebook cannot do anything about that. Plus, lately the way Facebook has been is they've been really cracking down on the truth. People are actually backing up truth and putting it out there. They've been cracking down. I put out a post for an example that kind of hit both the Israelites and mainstream Christians, kind of comparing the two, and within 2 minutes, two of my posts had been flagged by Facebook. One was actually put back up, but this one was actually you know taken down. Both were considered hate speech, and it was funny because not one of them was hate speech. Not one of them had anything to do with an individual, organization, or sect. It was from a personalized view, and I clearly stated that. So, but it is funny. So, like I said, I do have a Timber account that I just started up for the Order of the Black Thorn. It's Angela 666. So feel free to hit me up on that. Okay. And what the hell is going on with my cell phone here? My cell phone's literally spazzing right now. So, anyways, I'll get to that in a few minutes. But yeah, so like I said, hit me up on that one, Men Like Gods. Yeah, Timber. Like I said, my account is Angela 666. My email is actually on there as well. And like I said, my email is actually myhson35 at gmail.com. So again, Ed was completely wrong about that. So obviously it's not me because somebody's trying to be like me. There's just so much jealousy and envy, I think. I really do think that there's a lot of envy there. The funny thing is, I was talking with a friend of mine and I said it's kind of ironic. He must have a crush on me because every chance he gets, my name goes through his lips. So, really? Huh. Yeah, Timber is just one app. It's the one that looks like a T with blue and purple at the bottom. The kind of a blue or neon blues at the top, black outline, TUMBLR or IR. I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I'll show it to you. Right there. That's my account. Okay. Angelus 666. Traditional Satanist and Necromancer. Michael Hyson, Magus of the Order of the Black Thorn. And if you get into the account, oh, look at that. There's my email. Woo. Not the same one that Ed has. Uh-oh. You might have to go back to the drawing board. But yeah, let's see if I can. Right there. That one there. So, with that said, I'm going to get off here. I got a few things to do. My better half got home from work a little bit ago. I got to stop ignoring her. She'll whoop my ass later. All right. I want to thank Men Like Gods, my brother Hades, and was there somebody else on here? Trying to remember. Oh, right. Afro Root Witch. I want to thank you guys for jumping on here with me. And this is like I said, this was my second video debunking what Ed Morrow has been saying. Okay? He's been the one that's been doing the attacking. Everybody's just simply been exposing him for what he is. And me, guess what? I'm no longer sitting back, Ed. Enjoy the ride.